Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Sandy, and I recently posted this video titled Can My Library Be Trusted?, where I explored various reading recommendations from my library through my Libby app. You can watch that video, it's linked in my description box below, to see what the results were and if my library can be trusted. I decided that it would be fun to see if other things and people in my life could be trusted, and so was the birth of this video. Today we are going to be taking reading recommendations from my 3 older sisters to see if they can be trusted to recommend books for me. So Penny and I are gonna go, and let's just jump right into meeting my sisters and getting their recommendations.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I am Sandy's oldest sister, and the book that I'm recommending for her today is The Very Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle. Sandy, I'm recommending this book to you because as a new mom, you're going to find out pretty soon that all children's books are not created equal. In fact, some of them are terrible, and I would not recommend reading them. However, this story is a classic, and I would always recommend it. This book is beautiful. The illustrations inside are just gorgeous. The way that they're created is really interesting if you want to look at how Eric Carle created the illustrations, and just the text is fun and simple. As an elementary teacher, you know that I teach kids. I've read a lot of children's books, but one thing that's really important about children's books is that reading out loud to children is super beneficial to them. It creates a lot of brain development and vocabulary and language skills, and even the emotional bond that you create with a child when you read is really important. So that's another reason I'm recommending this great book, because as a parent, I found that sometimes I find a book that I do not enjoy reading with my child, and finding one that you really enjoy reading with them is going to help you want to read with them. So that's why I'm recommending this great classic, The Very Hungry Caterpillar. I hope that you and Penny enjoy this one.
Okay, so as Sarah mentioned in her introduction video, her recommendation is The Very Hungry Caterpillar. This is by Eric Carle. Luckily for me, I actually already have this book because I bought it for Penny Girl here when I was pregnant. So I thought that it would be fun to read it with her because it's a children's book, and obviously she is just a baby, but I plan on reading a lot to her as she grows up, and now is the perfect time to start. Don't you think so? So yeah, how about we have a little reading session? He was a beautiful butterfly. The end. Okay, so obviously I have to give this book 5 stars because it is just adorable. Like Sarah mentioned, the artwork in it is really cool. You get to like flip through as the caterpillar goes through each day. And she told me that I need to look up how this artwork was made. So Penny, should we look it up? So I'm gonna grab my phone, I don't know where it is, and I'm gonna look this up and tell you about it in just a minute. Okay, so we looked it up, and it turns out Eric Carle made his artwork in all of his children's books, and he's a famous illustrator, and he used collages that were created out of painted tissue paper. So that sounds pretty fun. Maybe when Penny is a little bit older, that's something that we can do together as a nice winter day activity. But I think she's a little too young for it right now. That might be a little bit of a mess. So I'll have to try it when she's a little bit bigger. But what do you think, Penny? Do you think that it's a good book? You like it? Yeah. I think she approves, Aunt Sarah. So that was the recommendation from my oldest sister Sarah, and let's go on to the next.
everyone. My name is Samantha. I am the second oldest of the Luthi sisters. And I recommended the book Leadership and Self-Deception. And I recommended it. I read it for one of my classes when I was in college, and I really liked the way that it made me think. If you've never read it, it kind of talks about paradigm shifts and just how it's thinking outside the box and stuff. And so a lot of times when we're in the box, then it's very narrow-minded. We're just thinking about ourselves and stuff. And so when we're thinking outside of the box, it just helps us recognize more of what's going on around us and other people. And I really liked that. And Sandy and I had talked about it before a couple of times, and she had read a different book from it's by the Aboriginal Institute, and so she read another book of theirs, and we were talking about the similarities between them and stuff, and I was like, you need to read this book, and she hadn't yet still. So when she talked about doing this video, I was like, that's the book that I'm going to recommend. It's a good one. So that's why I chose it. It's a great book. You can get it on Amazon. It's super cheap, but it's definitely worth it. And like I said, I got it for a college class, but I've read it quite a few times since then. And yeah, it's a good book. That's why I recommended it. So
Good morning. I had to take my husband to the dentist. So while he's been in there, I've just been in the car, and I started reading Leadership and Self-Deception. I am about halfway through. I'm really enjoying it so far. Honestly, I bet that I could finish this maybe before he gets out of his appointment, depending on how long it is. But what I really like about both this and The Anatomy of Peace, which is also by the Arbinger Institute, is that they're nonfiction books about, how to improve the way that you see people and leadership and stuff like that, but they tell it in a story. So you're following a character who is learning these lessons in a work setting with his boss. And I really like that because it just makes it easier to read and it flows really smoothly, but it also keeps your attention. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. And it's been pretty good company while I've just been sitting in the car. I've got Penny back here. I don't think that you can really see, but yeah, she's just chilling in there. The sun is like just barely coming up because it's almost 8 o'clock in the morning, but it's the middle of winter in Idaho, so the sun rises a little bit late and sets way too early. So yeah, anyway, that's how Leadership and Self-Deception is going so far. I will update you later, either when I finish it or maybe if I get a little bit farther in it, but I kind of bet that I'll finish it before I talk to you again because it's going really fast and it's a pretty short book. So yeah, so far though, it's a win. So we'll see if my thoughts are the same when I get to the end of the book. Bye. Okay, so I finished Leadership and Self-Deception. My husband came out from his dentist appointment like right after I filmed that clip, so I didn't finish it earlier this morning, but it's now afternoon and I just sat down and finished it. I gave it a 4-star. I think that this is a good book and it has a good message. However, this message could have been accomplished in like 50 pages and not 180 pages, if you know what I mean. Because basically you're just following this guy named Tom. He's having a meeting with his boss, and his boss is teaching him the golden rule, basically. It's all about how you need to see people as people and not as objects. I think that the examples that they give are good because it might make you ponder about how you treat people in your own life, and that can be good and cause you to have good self-improvement. So yeah, I think it's a good book. I think it's a worthwhile read if you have time, because it's a quick read, but it is basically just the golden rule. So yeah, that's Leadership and Self-Deception. I gave it 4 stars.
Hi, I'm Sabrina. I'm Sandy's 3rd sister, so the one just older than her. I recommend that she read Aragon by Christopher Paolini. I don't know how you say the last name. But I recommended it because I know that she's tried to read it before and she can't get past the world building part of the book. And once you get past that, I think it's a really amazing book and a really amazing story. So I thought she would really enjoy it once she got past that part. So that's why I suggested it.
Hi, welcome to my kitchen. Sorry my heater just turned on, but it's Idaho and it's the middle of winter, so I'm going to keep it on, and I'm very cold. I feel unwell. I have a cough. It's not enjoyable, and the lighting in here is not great, so I also apologize for that. But I'm going to listen to some Aragon on audio. I started the ebook and I just am not enjoying it at all. So I'm gonna try some on audio while I make breakfast. I think I'm gonna make a waffle because that sounds yummy and I don't feel good, and waffles are my comfort food. So yeah, I'm gonna turn that on, I'm gonna make some food and maybe clean up this kitchen a little bit because it's a little bit messy. Not super messy, but a little bit. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. So enjoy, that's the wrong app. So enjoy this waffle making montage, and then I'll come back and tell you what I think about the audio. Hello, once again. Welcome back to my kitchen again. It is now nighttime. I figured that I would just chat with you about Aragon while I put up dinner that we ate a little while ago. So I need to grab out some Tupperware. Although, do I even have Tupperware that's big? Okay, this might have to be split into 2 Tupperware containers because I'm gonna get 2 just in case. There's a lot of leftovers. Okay, here's the thing. I tried. I'm not enjoying Aragon. I tried the audio, I tried the ebook, and you know, last time I attempted to read this was when I was like, I don't know, probably like 12 or 13, you know, so it was a long time ago. And at that stage in my life, like Sabrina mentioned, I had a hard time getting into it because of the world building. This time, while I was enjoying the world building, I could not stand Aragon as a character. He just felt so obnoxious to me. And listen, before you come at me, like, you know, it's a teenage boy written by a teenage boy, I know, I get it. And I do think that Christopher Paolini is a really good author. And this book does, that is definitely like way too little for that. This book does what it is setting out to do. It accomplishes its task. And I like, seriously, props to Christopher Paolini for writing this book at such a young age. I think he wrote it when he was like 15 or 16. Which is why Aragon, as a teenage boy character, is so accurate, because it was written by a teenage boy. But I just could not stand to force myself to read 400 or 500 more pages of this character. I'm sorry, I couldn't. So, it's official. I am DNFing Aragon. I can't do it anymore. I give up. I know. Sorry, Sabrina. I know this is what you wanted to recommend to me, but I just can't do it anymore, you guys. And here's the thing with these types of videos. Before I get attacked by Tupperware lids. These types of videos and kind of reading in general is that I'm not going to force myself to read a book. Can't get that lid. Force myself to read a book if I am just not enjoying it at all. Because there are so many books that I'm so excited to get to this year and that I'm even currently reading. Like, I'm reading multiple books at the same time right now and I'm really loving them. So why would I spend my time reading a book that I am not enjoying at all and forcing myself to read when I could be spending my time reading a book that I really love? So yeah, I kind of hate to end this video, you know, have this last read of the video end on a sour note, but it's a no for me. So yeah, I think that this would be fun to try again. And I would be willing to take more recommendations from Sabrina because listen, Sabrina and I enjoy a lot of the same content and we read a lot of the same books growing up and really loved them, like Harry Potter and Fablehaven and Percy Jackson. Those were all books that we absolutely loved and we read them together and we talked about them all the time and we played them as imaginary games when we were little. Like, you know, those were things that we really enjoyed together. So I know that there's content that we do enjoy together. But as far as my sisters and I go, Sabrina and I are probably the most dissimilar, I guess you could say. Not that we're like, can relate to nothing with each other at all, you know. She's still one of my best friends ever, but in terms of what we like with decorations and clothes and music and stuff like that, we are the most different when it comes to me and my sisters. So, you know, maybe that's why I didn't like Aragon. But yeah, so that's what I have to say about Aragon. I'm sorry, Sabrina. Recommend me a different book, please, and I will try that one instead. Okay, so that was it. I think this video went pretty well. I enjoyed 2 out of the 3 books, so I would say that that's a win. I think a part 2 might be in order to see if Sabrina can redeem herself. So if you would like to see a part 2 of this video and know if Sabrina has anything worthwhile to recommend, then tell me in the comments down below and perhaps we can get that going. I hope that you loved this video. If you did, please like it, leave a comment telling me if you have any book recommendations for me, and subscribe for more content like this. Bye!